Is your business eating you alive? You pour your soul into every plate, every garnish, every table, but by midnight, you're empty. A tired heart, a body running on caffeine and adrenaline, and a bank account that barely covers the food cost. Why isn't it working? You aren't failing because the food is bad. You're failing because you're carrying water in a bucket with a hole in the bottom. This is Ben, 30 years old, owner of The Copper Pot, a chef who thought the secret ingredient was suffering. Ben did it all. He prepped the vegetables, he cooked the line, he washed the dishes, he even fixed the plumbing. He believed that if he stopped moving for even 1 second, the whole restaurant would collapse. But here's the truth. Effort without a system is just suicide in slow motion. Ben was cooking delicious food, but he wasn't building a business. He was just working a job he couldn't quit. The breaking point came on a Friday night. The dinner rush from hell. The ticket machine screamed. The orders piled up. Ben was on the sauté station, the grill, and the pass all at once. He turned to plate the sea bass, and the room spun. His vision blurred. The pan slipped. Crash. A grease fire flared up. The sous chef rushed in with an extinguisher. Ben stood there, frozen, unable to breathe. He walked out the back door into the alley. He sat on a trash can and didn't go back in. The next morning, he sat by the river, staring at the water. He was ready to sell, to give up. That's when Mr. Wells sat down, 70 years old, wearing a tailored suit, despite the park setting. He looked like he owned the city. "I ate at your place last night," Wells said. The risotto was brilliant, but the owner looked like he was about to die. Ben recognized him. Mr. Wells, the founder of Wells Dining Group, 40 locations, a legend. "I used to be you, Ben," Wells said, rolling up his sleeve to show an old burn scar. "I thought if I wasn't bleeding, I wasn't working." He pointed to an old water mill turning slowly in the river. "But then I realized, the wheel turns the stone, not the miller. I own 40 restaurants, Ben. Do you think I am chopping onions at any of them? No, I built the wheel." "You are trying to be the hero," Wells said sternly. "But a business doesn't need a hero. It needs a system." Ben realized the truth. He wasn't a business owner. He was just the highest paid, most stressed employee. Mr. Wells gave him the ultimatum. Stop cooking, start designing, build a kitchen that works when you aren't there. Ben closed the Copper Pot for a full week. He called it his wilderness week. He didn't touch a pan. He sat in his office and wrote standard operating procedures, recipes, opening checklists, closing duties. He installed a kitchen display system. He standardized the prep. He removed the dishes that caused bottlenecks. Most importantly, he promoted his best line cook to head chef. He handed over the knife. It was terrifying, like giving someone the keys to your car. But Ben remembered Mr. Wells' scar. He chose the system. Reopening night. The tickets started coming in. Ben stood at the pass, not cooking, but conducting. The system held. The food came out faster. And for the first time, Ben saw his restaurant not as a battlefield, but as a machine. He walked out into the dining room. He shook hands with customers. He poured wine. He was finally the owner. Within 6 months, he opened a second location, using the exact same playbook. He met Mr. Wells again, not at the river, but for lunch at the Copper Pot. Wells ordered the risotto. Wells took a bite. He smiled. "Perfect," he said, "and I bet you didn't cook it." So, here are the 3 rules of the franchise mindset. Rule number 1, the mise en place of business. Prep your systems before you open your doors. Rule number 2, fire yourself. If you are essential to the daily operation, you don't own a business, you own a job. Rule number 3. Trust the wheel. Once the system is built, step back. Let the water do the work. You are not a hero for suffering. You are a leader for solving. Stop stirring the pot with your hands. Build a kitchen that cooks without you. Build a life that flows. This is between two strokes. Turn the wheel.